Hello, everybody. Good evening, good evening. Welcome. Welcome to the 2014 Legendary Landmarks Celebration. That's it. The sooner we can quiet down, the sooner we can get going. My name is Bill Curtis. Thank you. For those of you who may be visiting, I was a longtime anchor here in town on the television side. I come from an age when only men read the news. You know, in San Diego, that man was Ron Burgundy. But in Chicago, that man was Walter Jacobson. Walter can't be with us tonight. He's got a board meeting at the Access Living, and I'll be joining him right after that. You were quiet, like you actually believed me when I said that. I have had the opportunity to travel the world during my career and to do many of these dinners, and your lovely faces welcome me in what is beginning the season, if you will. I appreciate your generosity of Chicago's corporate and philanthropic and civic community that continually invests in making this place that we all live and work much better and grander than we can ever imagine. Tonight we are here to honor landmarks, two extraordinary individuals and one significant corporate citizen that are making wonderful contributions to the Chicago civic skyline. We are also here to support Landmarks Illinois and its mission to empower people and enhance communities by saving places that matter. Remember that phrase. You'll hear it a lot tonight. Places that matter. I'd like to recognize Alderman Danny Solis. Would you give us a wave and stand up, Danny? I am pleased to anchor this event and dazzle you with this opening video showcasing the impact of Landmarks, Illinois. Thank you, Donald LaPietra, for producing that. It's just the beginning. We'll see much more of all those things a bit later. We are tonight here to Landmark, Illinois, to elevate Chicago's civic and cultural skyline with their professional and personal accomplishments of these several landmarks. Tonight, we begin with our corporate legendary landmark. And to introduce him, our first award is going to be presented by founding chairman of Potbelly Sandwich Works. Before we get to the sandwiches, here is Bryant Kyle.
Hello everybody. How's everybody tonight? Big crowd. First of all, I'm sorry I was a little late. I was having some printer issues, so, John, honestly, I never thought I was going to be up here introducing you as a legend. I think we're way too young to be legends, right? So, Yes, we are too young. It's really an honor to introduce my friend, John Terlato. He has done so much for preservation, and this recognition is incredibly deserved for John. He has tackled so many projects and influenced so many people. That is, it's very special. So tonight, John, for those of you who know John, he is somewhat focused on detail, like me being on time. It's pretty intense. In fact, he's staring at me now, and I better hurry up to get us back on track. He's really just a great friend, a great businessman, an incredible father, husband to Diana, he's a godfather to my son, and he's the kind of guy that's always there for you. Whether you have, life's full of all sorts of curves, ups and downs, and a true friend is someone who's there helping you navigate all those curves. And John is certainly a true friend, and I will always appreciate that friendship. I'm not sure I'd want to work for him. His contractor has probably got some pretty high blood pressure. He's kind of like Steve Jobs in the way he approaches making sure it's perfect, much like the chimney that wasn't exactly the way it should have historically been, and when it had to get rebuilt, John was right. It looks perfect now. He's definitely smart. He's definitely kind. And he also makes some pretty incredible wine. That is where his creativity, I think, really shines. He travels the world. He's going from California to Australia to Europe, making sure that Terlato wines and Terlato wineries are the best of class. I think we're all having some Terlato wine, and I know it's outstanding. Years ago, he was restoring a house on North Dearborn Street, a little brownstone, and he wanted me to come over and check it out. I was like, I kind of saw it before the renovation work was done. I was like, it's a really nice house, John. I got there, and that really nice house was completely gone. And I was like, oh my God, what are you doing? It was so nice. And he had plasterers there. He had made specific plaster knives just to recreate the exact moldings and the crown molding. He just did an incredible job making it true to perfect preservation. Impressive. It's kind of a meticulous in everything he does, whether it's his restoration on Dearborn, the suits he wears, or the work he did at Tangley. His family, has this amazing headquarters for their company in Lake Bluff. You pull into Tangley Oaks, and you really feel like, wow, I've just entered, a beautiful estate, a winery in Bordeaux or Burgundy. I mean, it's an incredible thing to have in Chicago, very in keeping with the incredible wines that they make. John orchestrated that restoration, and pretty darn impressive. I want to move in, at least in office. So, getting back to what I wrote, which I haven't read any of it so far, so I'm going to just introduce John Terlato, an incredible friend, a master meticulateur, master winemaker, John Terlato.
Brian Kyle, the man who has done more for elevating the lowly sandwich to the heights at which it belongs than the Earl of Sandwich in the late 1700s. How about it for Brian Kyle? I'd also like to thank the Landmarks Illinois for photoshopping my picture, stretching it. That was really impressive. Thank you. Good evening, friends and fellow lovers of those things, timeless and beautiful. Before I start my speech, I do have to thank my wife, Diana, who has stood by my side and not quite fostered, but at least put up with my affliction for building things and for restoring things, which truly I just can't stop. It's an addiction and an affliction, but I love every minute of it, and she's been incredibly supportive. She's referred to me often as the reincarnation of Mad King Ludwig for this incredible desire to want to build things, but it's so incredibly rewarding, and thank you, darling, for being so very supportive. I appreciate that. So it really, truly is an honor and a privilege to be here this evening and to be receiving this award. And when I was thinking about my speech and what I might say, there was really one question that just kept coming back to my mind, which was, why are some individuals predisposed to restoring and collecting those things that are timeless and interesting and beautiful and functional? And I suppose the easy answer is because we can. But the more well thought out answer is that because these things are really truly worth being preserved and shared with future generations. And if wisdom is really truly the accretion of life experiences, firsthand and otherwise, contemplating great architecture, is my belief, really ranks up there with enjoying the world's great and important literature. As I see it, great works of literature penned at the hand of a skilled author generally distill and weave the author's life experiences into his or her work, and similarly, the renowned architects and builders of the world weave their life experiences into these timeless architectural masterpieces. These people that I'm speaking of are the great and important architects who really truly pour their heart and soul into every building and every detail that they design. These are the great builders, yes, the builders, not unwarranted, but the unheralded people, individuals who bring those architectural drawings and designs to life. And these interesting and sometimes impossible details are executed with precision and done flawlessly. Like great literature, great architecture can be inspiring, amusing, and pleasing to the cognizant. And it's with this in mind that I'll share with you my first encounter with Tangley Oaks, which for me was inspiring. So there it is. In 1995, my father called me one day and he said that he had come across an advertisement for a building for sale. He asked me if I wanted to see it, and because he's my father, I said, of course, I'd love to see it. So we really had no intention of buying another building. We had no need to purchase another building, but I made an appointment anyway. And we arranged a visit. And on that fateful day, as we were driving into this tree-lined entrance to Tangley Oaks, there we were stunned by this architectural marvel that stood in front of us. And we walked through the building, and fairly quickly we decided that this was clearly a building that was of significant historical value, an important piece of history, and in fact, a building that we felt was worthy of being restored and shared with future generations. But it did, however, need to be brought back to life. It really needed some love and attention and some work, and who better than a family to bring life to a building that needed that type of love and attention. So we purchased Tangley Oaks and embarked on our journey. The cost of the restoration, for those of you who are prone to restoring, realize that they never cost as much as you think they do, but much, much more. It's just a fact of life. But you know what? We weren't really thinking about the cost of restoration. We were thinking of something else. We were thinking about the generations to come. Beautiful buildings such as Tangley Oaks are never really sold. Title is merely transferred from one generation to another. And so we saw it as our responsibility to restore this building and this architecture, this fantastic work, to be there for future generations. Today, Tangley Oaks is restored, meticulously restored, as Mr. Kyle was nice enough to point out. and it's positioned now to be handed over to the next generation. So I would be remiss if I didn't bring to your attention another irony and set of parallels, and those are the parallels that exist between great architecture and great wine. Now, my wife and my friends in the room are probably chuckling because they know that it's virtually impossible for me to stand in front of a group of intelligent people and not talk about wine. It's actually unnatural for me. So I'm just going to give you a couple of parallels, though, between the great and important winemakers of the world and their architectural brethren. They share these traits. First, they are equal parts artist and scientist. To be a great architect and to be a great winemaker requires right-brained and left-brained capabilities, as one without the other really bears some risks. Number two, they are inspired individuals. These are not individuals who paint by the numbers. There exists a certain nonconformist nature to their view of life and the things that they're creating. Number three, their creations transcend generations. There exists a timeless quality to their work. And lastly, and probably most importantly, their works, whether they're buildings or wine, are worthy of being shared. For these things are wonderful, and what are great things if they're not shared? And that's really what tonight is all about for me. It's about bringing together a group of people who are interested in creating and preserving great architecture and positioning those works to be shared for generations to come. Thank you for recognizing me and my family for the work that we've done with Tangley Oaks. However, it is really I who thank you, as preservation is not the endeavor of one man, it's really the endeavor of many, and thank you for including me in this group. In closing, I encourage you to continue to enjoy and support those who are focused on and are inspired to create and preserve those things of the highest quality. Whether it's the work of a sandwich maker, a winemaker, an architect, or a builder, I encourage you to share these wonderful things with your friends and family as they are worthy of being shared. Thank you very much.
John, congratulations. You joined two other corporate legendary figures, Landmark's Target and Abbott. So the only thing better than talking about wine is drinking it. You will have that opportunity. No wine before it's time. Fortunately, that time is now. Enjoy your dinner.